All right, we're live. Hey there. Happy New Year, everybody. 2020, brand new year plus a brand new decade. Oh my goodness. Have you taken the time to sit back and reflect on not only the past year, but the past decade? So I am planning to have some quiet time this afternoon. I've got a couple of cards, handwritten cards that I want to send out to a couple of people who are very near and dear to me on this brand new year, but also time to reflect back. But I got to admit, I'm more the forward thinking, visionary kind of person. I like to focus on the future, albeit we always need to learn and reflect on our, if we want to call it, our mistakes, our experiences of the past. So, hey there, welcome everybody. And we're going to spend a few minutes together. And I want to go through some training with you that I just provided in a private training community that I have. And so I'm drawing from what I have. It's a community of about 30,000 people, and it's in e-commerce. All right. But here on this page, it's all things internet marketing and business. My husband and I have been in business, a variety of businesses over the last 3 to 4 decades, spanning real estate investment to the automotive industry, on over to the online space, internet marketing, which I've been doing for 15 years. So, and it was about 6 years ago, I made the shift back into e-commerce. So anyways, if you trip over this and you're coming back and you're catching the replay, just write in hashtag replay in the comment section below. But I really hope you do get a tremendous amount of value for the training that I'm going to be providing for you today as we turn the corner into 2020. We're in 2020, right? So I think you're going to get a ton of value out of this. I know for my members, it was very revealing, them answering the questions that I had for them as we went through this material. That what I really appreciated, this was in a private webinar, by their answers, I know they were being brutally honest with themselves. And I think that is a very good quality of an entrepreneur, is that you need to be able to be circumspective and reflective and know, being real and honest with yourself, such that you're not in a delusion as you're pursuing the course of being an entrepreneur. So I was really impressed with that. So if you're comfortable, you can write in your comments as we go through this together. And I would just implore you to get the most value out of all this time, our time together, and the questions that I'm going to present to you in these attributes, is to really be honest with yourself, because that is a strong hallmark of a good entrepreneur. So let's, I'm going to screen share here. So hang with me 1 second. Okay, and I'm going to do a share. Am I on the right screen? I'm just coming. Yes, I am. Okay, so 1 second. I'm going to be sharing my screen, and what will happen then is I'm going to be a little box in the corner. I don't like it that way, but that's just the way it is. All righty, so let's do this together. 2020, Happy New Year, everybody. Let me know what your plans are, how you spent your New Year's Eve, but what are you doing to kick off what I like to call your brave New Year? All right. And I'm going to do as best I can to, I've got this being broadcasted into a page and a group. So I just want to make sure, I want to, keep tabs with you guys while we're interacting. Okay, I don't know that it went into my one group. I'm not trying to be rude by looking over at my monitor here. All righty, here. Am I on this page? That's so weird. It's not. Okay, let me just check and make sure that I am broadcasting live. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Yeah, okay, it's showing that I'm live. I just want to be able to see your comments as you're writing in. Oh, there it is. Okay, good deal. Great. Hey there. Good morning to you, Greg. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get moving forward, and I'm going to share my screen one more time. There we go. All right, so it's a Happy New Year. I hope I hope it's a Happy New Year. By the way, in China, this is the year of the rat. So if you want to use that in whatever way that gets you more motivated for the year of the rat, have at it. All righty. So this is something that I've been training on for about 5 years on and off, or actually spanning about 7 or 8 years. And that is a brave new year. To be an entrepreneur does require boldness and courage. Being an entrepreneur, if you are of a timid sort personality, it just won't fare well for you. And here's the main reason why. By its very nature and definition, being in business means you take risks. Everyone raise your hand with me. If you're an entrepreneur, Greg, you have a brick and mortar business, it entails risk. That is why it takes boldness and courage. It's not for the faint of heart, and you're not going to make it very long. If you're filled with fear and intimidation, it will plow you down before you know it, right? Instead, you have to be like this youngster in this picture. I love this picture. Arms out strong. You can see he's ready to take off and fly. He's not hiding in a closet, shaking and chewing his fingernails down, right? You see a measure of boldness and courage there in this picture. I love it. So my question for you is, what breakthrough do you want by December 31st, 2020? The year will turn that fast, won't it? When the older you get, the faster the pages turn. They just turn so fast, right? So what's going to be your big breakthrough? If you don't have your vision set on something, you have nothing to pull your arrow out and aim for. You're just mindless and aimless. So what's going to be your big breakthrough? And I had my big breakthrough of where I know I need to go about 3 days ago, because something my youngest son sent me in October. I didn't pay attention to it. I pulled it out 2 days before New Year's Eve, and I'm like, whoa, Ann, wake up call. Grab you by the scruff, Ann. And I know I'm setting myself on a different course relative to the practices within my business, which is to be out there more on social media. That's the sum of it. Anyway, so you tell me, what's the breakthrough you want by December 31st? All right, now this was the very interesting part in my training I provided yesterday for my community, which is e-commerce sellers. Here on my ANSEED page, again, it's for everybody who's an entrepreneur. So what's getting in the way of your success? Again, you need to be brutally honest with yourself. What is getting in your way of success? Identify it, not for the reason of pointing blame. Well, that's it. It's more me. The whole nature of being in business is problem solving. So if in your mind, you think XYZ is getting in the way of your success, identify it and deal with it. But whatever you do, don't get into a blame game, a shame game, a negative trap cycle. Instead, get out of that, lift it up, and set up a game plan to deal with it. That's all business is. The nature of business is dealing with it and figuring things out so you can keep moving forward. Business is constantly about forward momentum. If you are not in forward momentum, you need to get into it and remove the hurdles and obstacles that are slowing you down. All right? Be brutally honest. Even if you're not writing it in the comments section below, just write it on a sheet of paper. It's all good. Now, what are you going to do differently? What are the actions you're going to take? And I'm using the word action, a verb, that's going to change things, create a different outcome. Because if you're not in action, you can't expect a different outcome. But you can also step back a little bit and set up kind of the environment for yourself to make action more amenable. So that's what I started to do 3 days ago. I'm listening out. It was like this big, all of a sudden, everything just started to flow really fast. And it's like, and well, for one thing, you're going to have to do less of this and more of that. Right? So that's probably you. Less of this and more of this, correct? So identify it and be very specific. And if you don't know how to be specific on this, that's a homework project for you, because business is about high-level specificity, not generalizations. For example, all I know is I need to make a bunch of money. Your brain says, I don't know what you're talking about. Your brain needs to have marching orders that have a high level of specificity. So your subconscious can get behind the directive of your executive brain. But if you send your subconscious these very obscure messages, your subconscious says, no comprendo. Sorry, boss, can't get behind you on that one. Your subconscious needs to get behind very specific goals that you want to reach, defined in the context of time. Okay, so have you all done that? Smooth sailing. Hey there, Judith, good morning to you. Oh, I like that. Doubling my numbers on multiple platforms. Okay. Continue to systemize my business and be consistent. Greg is saying smooth sailing would be good. You know what, Greg, let me just share with something with you. Last night we went out to eat with a husband-wife team who own 2 franchises of Visiting Angels. I tell you, there is such an incredible affinity between business owners than a business owner with a non-business owner. We have so much in common. And what we all agreed on, Greg, there's hardly ever a day of smooth sailing. It came up in our conversation. I call it the blue skies. Look at the blue skies. They're not consistent. So I hate to break it to you that way, Greg, but that's been my story. And I will tell you in part, Greg, now they work in the offline world. I work in the online world. The online world is kind of like riding a bucking bronco. But the offline world is filled with a lot of pitfalls too. I'm not saying this to discourage, by the way, but I am being real. I'm not going to be full of BS here, right? And they are in the healthcare industry, and the laws that they have to deal with are unbelievable. I told my husband, no way are we getting in that industry. Anyways, okay. Oh, Greg, there you go. 3 VAs and many wholesale accounts. Yes. Well, Tim Coyle, who has trained on that at one of our events, he got over 100. And getting wholesale accounts is very much a relationship-based skill set. Okay. So let's keep going. Now, this goal that you want to accomplish for yourself, this matters to you because why? You know, like getting the 3 VAs and many wholesale accounts. Why? You know, what is, or I should say what I'm referring to more is the end of year goal for December 31st. What is the business supposed to do for your life? In other words, because we're not doing business for the sake of business. Can you raise your hand with me? That would be like bona fide nuts to do business for the sake of doing business. Business is for growing profits, correct? It's all about growing profits, right? And those profits are to create an outcome in your life for whatever that is to you. It's highly personal. There's no right or wrong, but what matters to you because of reaching success in your business via profits. Let's not mince words. Some people don't like capitalism or hearing about profits. They think it's evil. No, they're wrong. And never, ever listen to people who say that growing profits in your business is evil or wrong. They're cuckoo caca and they don't know what they're talking about. There's some weird stuff afoot. Okay, I'm just saying. And these are people who are not taught common sense and the basics of business fundamentals. So that's about all I'll say about that. All right, so this matters to you because now, here is what I told my people yesterday. Make your declaration of intent. Now, this is mine. You can adapt these words to your liking. I acknowledge things need to change to make this happen. I need support to help make this happen. I am determined to make this shift for my future well-being. Now, this is something of worthy printing out and putting on your wall and reading every night. Because I tell you, old habits die hard. Old habits die hard. And we have to really get into this very active mode of building our businesses. So you can adapt this to your liking. That's my declaration of intent. And then, do you know what the tone here is? Taking ownership. I own this sucker. It's mine. And I'm not going to put the blame onto anyone else or deflect onto others. In fact, there was a scripture verse I was reading yesterday that was very inspiring to me. I don't have the whole thing right in front of me, but it was about rendering service with joy or something to that effect. Rendering service. And I thought, that's me. That's my line of work. I render service, but it's how mentally, spiritually, emotionally you render service. I saw it last night when we were at the restaurant. The waitress, she needed some help in learning service industry. Low score, right? But there has to be a heart for it. In your business, you need to have your heart engaged into your business. It can't be dry. You have to have your heart engaged in it. And so rendering service, that's what we do as business owners, is to do that with joy and with pride of excellence. And I thought, yeah, that's me. That's what I'm going to do. All righty. So real quickly, my pathway to success. And I share this because a lot of times people want to know, well, what worked and what didn't work for you, Ann? And I can tell you a mile high of things that didn't work. And I'm going to get into those into 2020 as I share those, because people want to know, what were the pitfalls you ran into along the way, Ann, so I can avoid those? Oh, did I ever have a lot? And every pitfall is just an opportunity for more bootstrapping, don't you know? And then I just go, okay, and it's all character building exercises. Go ahead. Anyway, so here's what is kind of the formula for my success. For one, I was in a business with my eldest son, that's Isaiah on the right. And it was in a network marketing company. And I worked my flippin' fanny off, and I became a big producer for selling the products. And I got an award for the state, blah, blah, my state of Minnesota. But I wasn't getting duplication. That's how that's supposed to work in MLM is, oh, before you know it, you got 100 people all working underneath you and the money just flows up. Well, my people weren't as nutsos as I am. They wouldn't duplicate my actions the way I did. I'm like, this isn't working out like they said. And so my son said, Mom, you need to go online. So I did. And I think I might have typed in the keyword help. I don't know what I typed in, but I really needed help. And sure enough, Coach Kurt showed up. And that's who became my very first online mentor. I got into a training program because I knew between me and success, there was a gap of knowledge and experience that I was missing. It was a mathematical thing. No success, I wanted to get successful, right? So I got in this training system and I got very hardcore, laser focused. Kurt was my mentor. I checked the box. I was insanely driven and motivated. No one had to put a fire under me and, hey, Ann, did you get your work done? And no. I was like on fire with motivation. I tracked my actions and results, and that comes from my sports background. So I had those disciplines. I was in consistent action religiously. I was so concerned if I stopped a day in my business from not working that I might lose my enthusiasm and not keep up the forward trajectory I was building. Like the baton that people have in a race. If I were to set that baton down on the ground, I was so fearful that I wouldn't pick it up again. So I just held onto it really tight, running the race with this baton. And I never set it down. And I had these tracking sheets that the company provided me. It was physical. I'd print out like 365 at a time. And I tracked everything. Oh man. And I could see. And then when I wasn't getting results, I met with my coach, turned it around. Anyways, it was a lot of fun because I did this with my son. We went from $3,000 to $90,000 in 3 months. And I told my husband, it's time for you to come home. So that's what I did. All right. So the 3 pillars of online business success. Now I have to say, these are made specifically for my e-commerce business school, but on my Ann Sieg page and in my leader circle, Not everybody is in e-commerce. You know what? I was looking at this morning. I thought, generate cash flow? I don't know, Greg, you tell me. Do you need that for your business? Greg has a brick and mortar business. Yeah, everybody needs cash flow. Jumpstart your business and keep it going. Automate systems. Free up your time and scale up your business. Does every business need that? Yep. How about build assets so that you can pass on to your family or sell to investors for a profit? Same thing. So all three check the box. And this is what we teach inside the e-commerce business school with very specific trainings that help achieve these three pillars. So, but the same is true. It doesn't matter what kind of business you have, that these can be applied, these same three pillars. Okay. Real quickly, I like to showcase success. Now, granted, this is for my internal and private business community, but hopefully you yourself, whether you are a business leader, you are able to showcase the success of your members in your team or whatever you got going, or at minimum, showcase your success, right? So this is Emmy. She came into my community. These are screenshots from members, Amazon back office, by the way, as a third-party seller. And basically she was a tax accountant and moved to be with her new sweetie pie that she married and no longer had a job as a tax accountant. What's a girl to do? Well, she came in my community and she's done really well since. And there she's kind of, look at her. I think she can say, I've had a brave new year and I'm feeling good. So check the box on Amy. She did a fabulous job. Lessa came into our community. I think I remember her in new member orientation. Somehow I'm thinking she was the gal who was a doctor. I'm not really sure. But in any case, that's Lessa right there. And she's done really, really well. She says, I'm in 6 weeks. This course is amazing for getting your boots on the ground. So she's gotten really fast success in her business. Mary Ann here posted this in our group and she says, not where we want to be, but still plugging along. Okay, and that's 28,000 in 30 days and members are going, excuse me, and it might've been you, Greg, even. What do you mean plugging along with 28? That's almost 29,000. Is there something wrong with this? She said, no. I'm just trying to replace my husband's income in just a few short months. I'm just working hard. And this is a gal who, she works a full-time job. And this is on the side, as it says in the comments. I source nights after work and I spend lots of weekends away from home traveling around the state with a trailer. And then so, you know, she's just getting the deal done, working full-time, doing this on the side. And by the way, this are typically our members, it's 30% profit. Some get up to 50 or 60%. Okay, Beth, she hit 10,000 and Rebecca actually just posted 14 grand last night. Josie here, 10,000 exactly on the dime for 1 month. And Terry here posting 12K. Woohoo, awesome. And again, for any leaders, showcase your members' success and your own, reflect back, right? Here's Sharon. She had set a very specific goal of 190,000 and she's very good at this, by the way. She does her end of day tracking every day, sends an accountability report every single week. Even when she lost her very wonderful husband, whom we had the privilege of meeting, what helped Sharon stay grounded in her life and in her business was the regimen. The regimens of business never fail if you use them wisely. The regimens, like I talked about my tracking, I never set that baton down because I was afraid if I set it down, I might not pick it up again. Sharon never, ever has stopped with her tracking. So she's had a really great shift in her business, mostly due to online arbitrage. Miwa, very amazing story. She started with $300 for her business. She's a former, she has a PhD in biochemistry and left, actually that business collapsed, the one she was working for, because of corporate stuff that went on in there. And she revealed this in our private community, by the way. But anyways, I think this was the end of last year. And now this year she's at 75,000. Homeschooling 3 little children, left her biochemistry job and is now doing really, really well. So, okay, so let's now get to, if some of you are watching this and you're going, Well, that's just fine, Anne. That's just great. Some people having success, must be fun to brag on that, Anne, but I haven't had success. What's going on, Anne? So that's what the brutal conversation is going to be about. So we're going to get into a 7-point survey, if you will, where you get to rate yourself. I know, Judith, you were in my call yesterday and you were rating yourself. I'm going to see if I've got people in my Leaders Circle group that have shown up. Let's see, I got to just, because I'm broadcasting into a page and into a group. Let me just peek over here and see. I don't want to ignore people. Oh, it didn't show up into that group. Well, I'll be doggone. That's a shame. Let's find out what happened there. Okay, anyway, so why doesn't everyone create success? Why? Why can't it? Come on already. Can't we just level the playing ground? And why can't life just be that everyone has success? Oh, it's because it's called variances. There are variables. And the biggest variable, people aren't going to like this answer, but the biggest variable is you. It's you. It's me. How's that saying go? If it is to be, it's up to me. I say it to myself all the time. If it is to be, it's up to me. Right? So why doesn't everyone create success? Well, I heard this very interesting stat that it's kind of crazy. Of online training courses, only 8% of people who invest into a training course actually complete the training. They're not even talking about execution, just completing the training. Wow. Because I always call it, there's that 1% or the 3% rule, well, that kind of makes sense when you think only 8% even get through their training. What the heck? And then 92% don't. Human nature. That is human nature. I will say, I personally do believe there are culture has an impact into this. I really think so. Talking to my friend last night who owns 2 franchises, she's from Hong Kong. So we talked about, sadly, the demise of Hong Kong and what's happened to it in the last 8 months is very tragic. But what she said is Hong Kong began as a very poverty-stricken, it's an island. Right now there's about 7 million people. And her parents were that first generation on the Hong Kong island, if you will. They were very, very, very poor. So Carrie and I are the same age. And I'm not going to say my age. Sorry, not going to happen. Anyways, we're the same age. She said, my generation, which she's a baby boomer, she said, we learned to work very, very hard. And so Hong Kong was this thriving mecca of commerce for the whole world, a shining star. Sadly, a lot of things have gone down over the last 8 months if you've been following the news. But what's happened with each subsequent generation is that work ethic has diminished. In fact, the kids now coming out of the college institutions in Hong Kong, they are expecting a house. They're expecting that a house is given to them as kind of a rite of passage as a citizen. An adult in Hong Kong is they should now get a free house. Yay! Everybody wins. Wait a minute. Someone's got to pay for it. Yeah, that would come out of the back pocket of the taxpayers. Yeah, so I don't believe in that model. Anyway, so let's just keep going. The culture does impact because maybe the cultural impact is people are less and less likely to complete things. I think that is going on in our culture. All right, so let's keep going. So why doesn't everyone create success? The not so obvious habits and practices of our successful students. So over in our e-commerce business school, there's very obvious factors. Amazon is a beast and it continues to grow and explode, right? So yay, hooray for Amazon. Our training works. You put those two together, we get success stories. But then wait a minute, if we got those two, then why is there still people failing, Ann? Habits and practices. So we've cracked the code on the 7 essential habits and practices of our successful students. So what you're going to do, I know you did this yesterday, Judith, you're going to rate yourself from a scale of 1 to 10 on these 7 essential habits and practices. The first one is to cultivate the mindset and the heart of a successful entrepreneur. So these are 2 books that I have recommended, and I've actually interviewed both these authors, Simon Sinek and Daniel Coyle. This is something that you have to do consciously and proactively and put effort and work into, and realizing that if you're not successful, you don't have quite fully the package of the mindset and the heart of an entrepreneur. So what do you need to do? You need to follow behind the footprints left, success leaves clues, by the people you want to be like, who have the success that you want. This is why I routinely interview members in our community, our successful members, excuse me. I don't interview the non-successful. I interview only the successful because they serve as a source of inspiration to my other members. So my question for you, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Can you see it in your calendar? Is it in your schedule? Are you doing this? Do you put effort into cultivating the mindset and heart of a successful entrepreneur? All right, there you go. Rate yourself from 1 to 10 on that one. Let's go on to number 2. Do you utilize simple, understandable, repeatable tasks? We have that in spades now in our situation with the e-commerce sellers. They know with local retail arbitrage, for example, they better be out scanning every day. Did I say every day? Yeah, I did. I said every day. So that is a simple, understandable, repeatable task. And that creates mastery. Because I'm going to give you a case in point. I have people who come into one of my basic e-commerce courses, our most popular one. And then they'll write on the group page, oh, I went out to the stores and I didn't find anything. It's kind of like a broken record. You can just hear it. It'll show up. All right, I'll go out and I'll give it a try. And then if you listen to Martha's success story, Martha Fitzenmeyer, she ran into the same hurdle 2 weeks out. She's thinking, this isn't going to work for me. She says, I remember I was at the stop sign in when I was thinking this. I was going to go home and talk to my husband about it. And he said, no, this is not the Martha I know. The Martha I know is not a quitter. Done. Slap across the face, right? So 10 months later, $74,000 in a single month. She was on the cusp of quitting. Oh, but Anna, I went out to a store, I tried, I didn't find anything. And I said, I guarantee you, if I went into that same store, I would find something. The method works. It's you that needs work, right? So that's just a case in point. Let's keep moving on. Rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. Are you utilizing simple, understandable, repeatable tasks? Or are you in a business situation? I don't have any of those, Ann. Then you got a real problem. I mean, Greg, right? You have a brick and mortar cleaning service. I think Greg really understands that the work of his business and his staff is to go out and clean offices. It's real simple, right? That's all you need. Let's keep going. Number 3, and you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Do you maintain consistency and action with the focus on implementation? Check. Yep, got it done. I got I'm not on the other side is my whole list of to-dos for today. Yeah, on New Year's Day. So there's about 8 of them. I don't think I'll get them all done. Anyways, are you an action taker? Or do you look at the end of the week and go, man, I did 2 things this whole week. Well, big whoop. You have to run your business as though your life depended on it. Oh, Ann, don't be saying things like that. Oh, but I am. You have to work your business as though your life depended on it. depends on it, right? That's how you need to work it. That's how you need to work it, my friends. Go ahead and rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. Number 4 is to track performance and results with written assignments. Hopefully you are in an environment, a learning situation, a training and mentorship situation that you got a written assignment. Get this done. And you complete it and you send it in, or you show it to yourself, and you are tracking what you're doing and the results from your actions. And I'll tell you, any good business coach worth their salt is going to ask for your stats. Can I see your stats, please? And then they're going to look at the numbers, because numbers don't lie. And if you're not tracking, you got a problem. You got a problem. How's that saying go? What's inspected? There's a little quote about that. It's about what is it, not just what's expected, but what is inspected is what gets done. What is inspected, right? Just like in the school system. So now you have to be your own inspector if you don't have your own business coach and mentor. All right, so rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. Ready? Everybody done? Okay, and I am so disappointed this didn't show up in my other page. Means I have to do it over again. Okay, anyways, we'll keep going. How are you guys doing over on my main page? Thank you, Greg. You've got a really good point. Yes, Greg, you are absolutely correct. Speaking of Dr. Josie Shepard, it is smooth sailing. She's got such awesome staff. Her business runs with or without her. So thank you for the correction. I appreciate you. Okay, accountability is number 5, a public record of attendance and performance. Say what? Wait a minute. I'm a private individual. You're talking about this being public? Yeah, we're talking about it being public. So we have, for example, in our private training and mentorship community, a boot camp. It's a 10-day accountability boot camp. Our members show up, and their showing up and their tracking of the results is actually monitored every single day in front of everybody. And if they're not showing up, Coach Kurt reaches out to them. Where are you? Where are you? You know, and it's the funniest thing. I would say 98% of people crave to have this done. This is not the minority of people who need this. It's the vast majority of entrepreneurs need this. It might even be 99%. It's a really rare individual who doesn't need this. So do you do that? Scale of 1 to 10. Okay. And by the way, let's say you're not in a training and mentorship community. You could disclose this publicly on your own Facebook page. You could say, hey, Happy New Year. I'm actually declaring my intent for this year. It's XYZ. And this is going to be my brave new year. So I'm just going to put it out here publicly in front of all my friends on Facebook that here's my goal. And I'm going to hold myself accountable every single day to you folks. Whether you're interested in not hearing about how I'm moving forward in my business or not, I'm going to post this every day. There is a way to make it public, folks. We got this thing called social media. All righty, let's keep going. 2 more to go. Our successful members, they plan their work and they work their plan. That's what I'm doing today. Got about 8 things. I'm going to work my plan. Boom, did a boom, did a boom, did a boom, and render service. Number 7, go ahead and rate yourself 1 to 10. Number 7 is achieve scale and automation through virtual assistants. Now, it doesn't have to be virtual. Here at E-Commerce Business School, our members are hiring Filipinos to do a lot of their work for them. My backstory is when I first came online, I hired one of my downline members. She lived in Minnesota. She came to my house and she started to take over about 5 hours of the work I was doing. And she started taking over that work for me. I was answering emails 5 hours a day from customers, and just was insanely busy. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to hire someone else to do that. And that's how you get scale. So you can be working more on your business instead of inside your business. Okay. Those are the 7. Rate yourself from 1 to 10. Did you do it? So here we go. All right, Judith, I know how you scored. So let's just dive in. If you just tallied up and you're at 70, between 61 and 70, lead the way, baby. Right? You are leading the way. 51 to 60, tune-up is needed. Maybe you need to get in a boot camp, just a little more accountability. 41 to 50, dull knife. You know, they say a dull knife is do not work with those in the kitchen. You're more likely to cut yourself than with a sharp knife. So don't be keeping that dull knife, but good potential. You just need some help there. 31 to 40, there's hope. There's hope there. 21 to 30, well, desperation is not always bad. Coach Kurt put these together, by the way. And I meant to preface and say, this training was primarily composed and put together by Coach Kurt, my first online mentor. We worked together a little bit on it, but he did the bulk of the work. Okay, 11 to 20, oh, we'll find a pulse, honey. Just hang on. We got cardiac. The paddles are coming out soon. There's hope. And 1 to 10, hey, it's New Year's Eve. Now, this was delivered yesterday. Have you started drinking already? Actually, we had someone yesterday who scored a 3 yesterday. And yeah, so rate yourself as you tallied up your score, 1 to 10. I hope you weren't way down in the low numbers. All right, so there it is to just sum it up. Cultivate the mindset and heart of a successful entrepreneur. Utilize simple, understandable, repeatable tasks. Maintain consistency in action with focus on implementation. Track performance and results with written assignments. Accountability, have a public record of attendance and performance. I'm going to have to repeat this and put this into my Leader Circle group, which, by the way, on my ANSIG page, I'll give you a link so you can come to my private group. It's my Leader Circle group. And at minimum, you folks can be recording there inside that group where it's a little more private, right? Our successful members, what do? They plan their work and they work their plan. They're not just dreamers thinking about their work. They do it. And number 7 is achieve scale and automation through virtual assistants. So those are the 7 habits and practices of our successful students. All righty, so this is a definite reality for so many people who go plunging into entrepreneurship. In fact, I was just on a call with someone yesterday. He is a very strong entrepreneur, but he's coming into e-commerce now. This is a realism. I don't know what I don't know. All right? I mean, there can be multi-million-dollar business owners and still be able to say this, I don't know what I don't know for certain aspects of their business, for certain aspects. And if that certain aspect, that factor is important to you, you reach out and you get help and support. Because I can tell you the path of figuring it out on your own, I just got to say, good luck, honey. I almost want to say it ain't happening, honey. You have to have training. You have to have mentorship. You need accountability. And so that's the success formula for our top level students. So what I just shared with you of those 7 habits and practices, those are exactly what I put into my own business to help reach success. Alrighty, so we're just about done here. So we're just now implementing our new peak performance mentoring to our e-commerce business school. I realize here on my ANSIG page, probably 90% of you are not in e-commerce. That's fine. But what I am doing and sharing with you is what we do to help train and mentor our members to success. We call it the 90-day e-commerce peak performance mentoring. And it's focused on developing these habits and these practices that the majority of would-be entrepreneurs simply do not possess. And someone might say, well, then you should have no business in being in business. Well, my belief is putting up an environment, structuring an environment that makes it opportune for success. So why not shine a spotlight on what are those key attributes you need? Otherwise people are saying, I don't know what I don't know. What are these key habits that I should have? I've just identified them. So regardless of whether you're in my private community or not, now you've had the truth revealed to you and you can take some ownership here instead of being clueless for why you have failing points in your business at this time. So this is what we do over here at e-commerce business school. And I want to share with you with my general audience. Okay. So thank you for watching and interacting with me in our Brave New Year training. Again, if you are coming and watching the recording, just write hashtag replay. Let me know your thoughts if you got some value out of this. And if you'd like to become a peak performer, you can contact me through these different methods. My ANSIG page, that's my email address, and that's my phone. If I don't answer, it goes to voice message. If I'm in a meeting, I don't stop my meeting to take phone calls. So anyways, here's what I know to be true. So I just watched an amazing interview with someone about artificial intelligence and what is coming our way. So a lot of people are fearful of the future. And in some ways, they should be. They should be if they've got their head stuck in the sand and just hoping things get better, which a lot of people do. I think that's the majority of people. Instead of realizing change is here, whether I like it or not. And I better grow up and I better adapt. Because if you don't adapt, you die. I speak realism here. If you don't adapt, you die. So for example, I don't remember the exact number with the big shift of everything coming, but relative, because it was asked of this gentleman, say, what about jobs? And this gentleman said, there will be an explosion of new jobs. I think he said 1 million, I don't recall, for AI alone. And the jobs that need to be filled is staggering. So when new change comes in, a shift, a new technology, it doesn't mean the end game that, oh man, we're screwed. No one's going to have jobs anymore. Baloney. Those are the ignorant naysayers. Those are the ignorant naysayers. And they don't know the other side of the coin, that anytime there is a shift, it equals opportunity. Endless opportunity, just like e-commerce and internet marketing and all that. But it does require us, you've got to shift. You have got to shift or you die. You become a relic. You know, and people say, oh, if it only could be like thus and thus again. Well, it's not. It's never going to be like years of yore. It's gone. We're in the most rapidly changing times in mankind's entire history. And it's only going to get faster. Now, I am going to post that interview for you folks. And one of the interesting things is that in this calendar year of 2020, everybody, by virtue of AI, will have a virtual assistant that will offset 2 to 3 hours of their work without costing you barely a thing. A personal assistant, arranging trips for you, et cetera, et cetera. Just endless work that AI, artificial intelligence, will be able to get done for you. And then you say, wow, that leaves more time for me to loaf around. Well, as an entrepreneur, it just gives you more opportunity. That's how I see it. So anyways, it's a wrap. Thank you for listening and watching. And again, write in hashtag replay if you're just coming in now. Wow, did this thing get frozen? Looks like it's way back on a different, I wonder if I got dropped here. No, I'm still live. Okay, so I should have gone full screen sooner. Well, I hope you found this interesting, and I'm gonna have to repeat this whole thing over again and get it in the correct page. Alrighty, till then, God bless everybody. Have an awesome, wonderful, brave new year. Keep me posted. I'd love to hear. Bye-bye.